Hello, my name is Manda, and today I'd like to talk to you about how to use Microsoft Word track changes. Now, I know that for quite a few of you, it's not something you've used before, and realistically, it's only something that's actually used when people want to collaborate over a Word document, or when an editor has made changes and an author wants to review them. So unless you've actually used it before, it's not something you would have come across. And I'm aware that receiving back your manuscript with it covered in red pen, or in this case blue pen, can be a little bit overwhelming. So I just really wanted to talk to you about how to use track changes so that technically you understand the best ways to use it. It's actually a really versatile piece of software, and it's quite intuitive to use and very flexible. So yes, I just really wanted to talk you through it. So in front of you, you should be able to see a document which will look how your manuscript would look when you receive it back from me. So it's been edited using track changes. So what that means is that I have turned on track changes before I've made any changes to your manuscript. And this means that you will be able to see each and every change that I've suggested, and you can choose to accept or reject each one individually should you so wish. So in front of you, you can see we have some text with some blue markings, some words over here and some words over here, little comment balloons. And to start with, if I show you down the left hand side, you can see there's a grey bar, and this bar indicates that I've made changes to the corresponding text. So there's no bar here because I haven't made any suggested changes to this phrase here, and there's no bar here because I haven't made any changes to this sentence here. So the setting that you're looking at now has all markup selected, which means that every single change, be that comments, be it formatting, be it insertions and deletions, they're all visible. You can see them all. Now, you may not be able to see this on the recording, but if I click on the down arrow next to all markup, I get some options. I get simple markup, all markup, no markup, and original. So if you want to see every change that I've suggested, you leave it on all markup. But if you want to have a look at it, how it might look if you accepted all my changes, then you can switch it to simple markup. So simple markup, you can see all the changes have disappeared, but actually they're still there. You've just toggled the view so that you can't see the changes. That's all you've done. So you could read this paragraph, read this page, and think, actually, I'm really happy with all these changes, and I'm just going to accept them all. In which case, you can go up to this button here, click on accept, and again, you may not be able to see the sub menu, but there is an option here that says accept all changes. So if I clicked on accept all changes, it would literally accept all the changes that I have suggested to your manuscript. If you wanted to have a look at each one individually, then you would go to all markup. Place your cursor at the beginning of the paragraph, beginning of the book. Click on the accept button. Now what that does is it will take you to the first suggested change. So the first suggested change that I've made to this manuscript is that I have made the word with in italics. So I'm quite happy with that, so I'm going to accept it. And I'm going to click on the green accept tick, and it will take me instantly to the next suggested change. So the next suggested change is to add in an exclamation mark here. I quite like that, so I'm going to click on accept. Taking me to the next one, which is to remove the comma, which is obviously correct, so I'm going to say accept. Again, capital O for O, so I'm going to accept that. And accept the fact that the small lowercase o has been deleted, that's fine. I'm going to say I don't want that comma. So there's a comma here. Actually, technically there does need to be a comma there, but just for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm going to say I don't want to have that comma. I don't like that amendment. So I'm going to click on the reject button, which is this button here, which is a little red cross. What that will do is it will say no to that change and take me to the next suggested change. So I can see that's correct, so I'm going to accept that. I'm going to accept that. going to accept that. So that's showing you how to skip between the different suggested amendments. If you don't want to accept one, you can actually just say skip to the next one, and I'm going to come back to that. I'm not sure about that one. I'm going to come back to that one. If you want to make changes to the text, you can see here that actually I've accepted an amendment that doesn't look like it's right, so I can click on here and I can just edit the text as I normally would. There's no issue with doing that. So that shows you all the different individual suggestions for accepting and rejecting my editing. So what these little comments over here, so this balloon here indicates that I have made a comment in your text. So Word does a clever thing whereby rather than overlaying my comment over your text so you can't see what I'm talking about, it just gives a little flag to indicate to you that there is a comment, and it's always worth reading the comments because it will either explain a suggested change, or it might be a nice comment like this: I love this, I know exactly what you mean. It's always worth reading the comments. Once you've read it, if you don't want to leave it on the file anymore, you can simply click on the 3 dots and say delete, and that's gone. If it's a different sort of a comment, so this one here, I've said that the letter D for diarrhea would not normally be capitalised, but I'm assuming you want to emphasise the word, so I have left it. So that kind of really requires a response from you. So you can click in the reply box and you can say, yes, that's right, thank you. And then click on the arrow underneath, and then obviously it's me replying to me, but it would show up with your name there. So I will be able to see that you have replied, you've seen my comment, you've replied, and that's fine. There may be others where you just want to click that it's resolved. So this one, you might want to say, let me know that you have seen my comment and you agree with it, and you're going to resolve it. So effectively it's taken out of active duty, resolve thread. So now you can see there's a little tick in the box there. So that tells me that you've seen the message, you've understood the message, and you're happy with what I've suggested. So in a nutshell, that is how to use Microsoft Word track changes. There are quite a lot of other functions involved, but realistically they're the ones that you would need straight away. In terms of whether you need to turn track changes on or off, I would generally send a manuscript back to you with track changes switched off, because I don't need you to track your changes. So whatever you do to this document, whether you add new text in, whether you respond to my comments, whether you accept or reject my suggestions, when you save your file and send it back to me, I can see all the changes that you've made. There's another facility within Microsoft Word called Compare, and I can compare my version of the document I sent to you with your version of the document that you've sent back to me, and I can see exactly what you've been doing. So you don't need to worry about turning track changes on or off. If it is accidentally switched on, you'll know straight away, because you'll make a change and it will do something strange. It will turn something red, or it will just show you. You'll know straight away that the track changes has accidentally been switched on. If you want to turn it off, you just literally just click on there until it's not grey anymore, and then it's responding as normal. So that's it in a nutshell. If you did have any questions, obviously please contact me. My website is www.mandawaller.co.uk, and I'm always happy to answer questions about track changes because I think it is a really useful tool. And I know, as I say, a lot of authors get a little bit scared when they see their manuscript covered in suggested changes. But realistically, it's giving you control, and it allows you to see the detail of the editing and maybe actually understand a little bit more about why I've made certain changes. So I will always try and clarify in the comments. If I've made a change, I will always try to explain. If it's not obvious, I'll try to explain why I've done it. So for example, I've said here there's a repeat of the word door. I suggest you change it. You switch from past tense to present tense here. So I'm trying to explain why I'm making the changes. And it might be that actually you learn a little bit about how to edit your manuscript yourself, so that next time around you won't need quite such an intense edit, which intense editing is obviously something that I'm very happy to do, but I'm conscious of the fact that obviously the longer it takes, the more expensive it is for you. So there may well be some fairly easy fixes that you can make, possibly in terms of of knowing that there should be a comma in front of a name in dialogue, for example. So here, oh no, Abby, that is actually incorrect. So there should be a comma in front of that. And it may be that just by learning that kind of thing, that you make the editing process quicker next time around and therefore save yourself some money. So that's the idea, really. So as I say, get in contact if you've got any questions, and I hope to hear from you.